What if I told you there may be advanced structures underneath the pyramids of Giza? There is a new groundbreaking study that is going viral all over social media right now, and they show what they found underneath the Khafre pyramid. So you
already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat? Pow! It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we gotta do. You gotta hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. You are the prize in 2025. You are the prize in 2025. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos we back. Another conspiracy theory compilation talking about pyramids. And look, you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. Don't forget to put that in the comments. Make it to the end, put a real one for real. Also, I got a TikTok playlist, man. You can binge watch it, go through. It's a lot of crazy stuff in there. Also, if you got any videos y'all want me to check out, man, make sure y'all hit me on the gram. Send them to me on the gram for sure. But let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's popping? Let's get it.
Could possibly be one of the biggest discoveries of all time. Researchers just discovered something that is gonna absolutely blow your mind, and people are freaking out all over social media. The Great Pyramids of Giza, we all know they're one of the biggest mysteries out there. Many people believe they were built by aliens. I mean, it remains a mystery how they were physically built. Weird objects that we found recently. Last year they discovered an electrical anomaly under the pyramid, which they weren't sure what this was. Now, this research came out a while ago. Researchers essentially developed a new technology which uses LiDAR and radar to basically look through the buildings in a way, but also scan under the ground. Now, stick with me. In the last few days, this research was conducted, and these images are what came out from the sound waves that they captured. This right here is basically the base of the pyramid. So what the hell is all of that under the pyramid? What they did with the radar data is actually then transform it into 3D mock-ups which look like this, showing this under the middle pyramid. Essentially these like spirals which have paths and walkways all the way down. The crazy thing about this, stick with me, these things go 600 meters under the ground of the base of the pyramid. Now when you look at this scan, be ready to have your mind absolutely blown. This is the pyramid, that's the top of the pyramid. This is where the tube goes down. This is all 600 meters under the flipping ground. So they are now believing that there could actually be other buildings and God knows what, all this way under the ground. Obviously not that much information's come out yet, but make sure that follow button and I'll keep you updated.
Do your own research. What? You ever sit with a feeling you can't explain? Like, why do I shut down when someone tries to get close to me? Why do I feel guilty for having needs? Why does every disagreement feel like the end of everything? I've asked myself those questions over and over again. Sometimes it's not that you don't have the answers, it's that you don't want to say those answers out loud. And that silence, it starts to weigh on you. That's why I want to tell you about BetterHelp. Because you deserve someone who listens without judgment. Someone trained to help you unpack those things that's been sitting on your chest for so long. With BetterHelp, you can get matched with a licensed therapist within a few days based on your needs, preferences, and your schedule. And if it doesn't feel like the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time, no extra cost at all. Their platform is legit with thousands of licensed professionals with a support team that cares, over 7,000 reviews, and a 4.5-star rating on Trustpilot. You know you're in good hands. Therapy isn't a weakness, it's a decision to show up for yourself. Whether it's past trauma, family wounds, or you just wanting to learn more about yourself, BetterHelp can help. Go to betterhelp.com/LayedBakDFR to get 10% off your first month. Make sure you tell them Laid Back sent you. Self-love and positivity. Let's get back to the video.
So this is either going to be the biggest discovery of the century or it's going to be complete nonsense. But apparently the pyramid at Khafre at Giza has been scanned by radar, and that they allegedly detected massive structures that were stirring far below the pyramid. Allegedly, researchers said that they announced the discovery of a normal vertical cylindrical structures that were approximately 648 meters beneath the Giza plateau. They were using advanced synthetic aperture radar tomography. The team reported a complex of 5 multi-layer subsurface halls with sloped roofs connected by geometric patterns pathways, and 8 deep cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows. These hollow cylinders spiral downward and eventually merge into 2 gigantic cube-shaped chambers that are about 80 meters across. Now, the people that claim to have discovered this were Corrado Malanga of University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi of University of Strathclyde. Now, they're saying that these formations are man-made and not natural. Now, here's the thing. This is still waiting peer review and confirmation, so it's not confirmed yet. But it's already started blowing up all over the internet because of the fact that if this is man-made structures beneath the pyramid, that's 2,100 feet below the surface of the Giza Plateau. That could potentially be the biggest discovery of our lifetime, because what that would do is that would prove that there were civilizations back dating before the Egyptians that potentially were more advanced than today's current technology, which would be pretty unprecedented. Now, one of the popular alternative fringe theories that may or may not be true is that these giant structures that were beneath the pyramids were part of a gigantic ancient energy system rather than just tombs. Now, people that are supporters of this are saying that the precision engineering of the pyramids and enigmatic internal structures feature evidence of some kind of power generating machine. Now, the engineer and author Christopher Duns argued famously that the Great Pyramid was essentially a huge geomechanical device, like a power plant, designed to convert Earth's vibrational energy into microwave or electric power. Now, according to the scenario that Christopher Dunn put out, he said that there were resonating chambers and strategic materials like granite in the king's chamber, which were used to amplify the vibrations. The pyramid's architecture guided the energy upward, which could then be extracted. There's a lot of other fringe theorists that are saying that the newly reported vertical shafts and massive cubes underground could fit into this energy mechanism model. For example, a guy by the name of Greg Reese hypothesized that these new findings could suggest that the cylindrical wells might have served as conduits for energy and sound, and that the huge cube structures could have been energy storage or stabilization units, kind of similar to the components that you would have from a large industrial generator, because this stuff resembles giant subterranean capacitors or Tesla coil systems, according to some of the theorists.
This is crazy.
This may be the most important news of our lifetime. What you're looking at are leaked images, and it changes everything we know about the ancients and pyramids. The image above is showing what's underneath the middle pyramid of Giza, not the Great Pyramid. The team has discovered 8 wells with spiral tunnels around each one underneath the pyramid. It goes 640 meters into the bedrock of the plateau. To give you a scale of what that is, the Great Pyramid is 146 meters tall. That's 4.5 times the height into the ground. They end at 2 cubes that are 80 meters by 80 meters. We don't know what's in them. That's not all. Inside the pyramid, 5 new chambers, almost exactly like the Great Pyramid's King's Chamber, were discovered. The chambers are arranged in the same way the towers at Angkor Wat are arranged. The King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid is made out of absolutely massive blocks of rose granite from 900 kilometers away in Aswan.
Wow.
That chamber is a perfect 2-square rectangle in geometric terms. The team used that chamber to test the accuracy of their Doppler technology for imaging. That revealed the full internal structure of the middle pyramid and these weird tuning fork things that are going into the ground. New features at Angkor Wat and new pyramids in Guatemala were discovered using non-invasive technologies as well. Why is this one so important? This remains the current explanation for how these were built. Explaining one of these tunnels this way would be insane. They did it 8 times. This level of sophistication is not only beyond their capabilities, it more closely resembles our computer architecture, except they were doing it in 3D. Can't explain those with that anymore. This conference was held 2 days ago. More findings will be released every day, and I will cover each and every one of them. I'll post my thoughts on this in a longer form YouTube video tonight with all the papers that I have linked. But for now, let it sink in. You will tell your grandkids you lived through the discovery that changed the entire human story.
This is some crazy stuff right here.
What were the pyramids in Egypt used for? We've always been taught that they were for tombs for pharaohs, but new research suggests otherwise. A group of researchers used SAR technology. It's a radar technology so they can see if there's anything underneath the pyramids in Egypt. And what they found is mind-blowing. They found cylindrical structures that go 648 meters deep. The cylinders also have some sort of a coil or staircase wrapped around them, which leads to the question if they were being used for energy or going somewhere else. Nikola Tesla was obsessed with the pyramids in Egypt, because he believed that the earth has its own energy and that if you tapped into it properly, you could generate energy for free and have a limitless amount. He used this information to patent one of his inventions in 1905, and he called it the art of transmitting electrical energy through the natural medium. It was triangle shaped, and it was known as Tesla's electromagnetic pyramid. Throughout history, we are always told that humans advance as time goes on. But when you look at what we are discovering with the pyramids in Egypt, you have to wonder if past civilizations were more advanced. What do you think the pyramids were for? As always, let me know down below.
I definitely think they was more advanced back then, if you ask me.
Either the world is completely losing it, or what was just discovered under the Pyramid of Khafre will change Egyptian history as we know it. If this is true, it's just insane. And I'll explain my hesitation in a minute. So already in 2022, Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga created this high-tech radar called Synthetic Aperture Radar, SAR for short, that using sound waves and vibrations is able to recreate an image of what lies underneath the pyramids. It's basically a way to look inside and underneath without moving a single stone. Now this was 2022, and I'll link the study, which is peer-reviewed, in the caption. But apparently now, March 15th of this year, they had a press release specifically on the Khafre pyramid, and what they released would send any archaeologist into a coma. This is what the SAR images from underneath the pyramid show, and this is a 3D recreation. So from what they show underneath the pyramid, we find 8 gigantic cylindrical structures, obviously perfectly aligned in 4 pairs. I can't even build my IKEA furniture, but okay. And they go deep down into the earth, and I mean 648 meters deep. Those are some tubes. And each of them is surrounded by this circular thingy, like a pathway perhaps. Icing on the cake, at the base of the pyramid, so above ground level, we find 5 chamber-looking units stacked over each other. Just as a reminder, they're made of heavy granite blocks. I've explained in another video in this playlist what a possible theory is as to how they were able to transport them, so go check it out. And don't get mad with me, I didn't come up with it. So 5 chambers on top of 648 meters cylinders that pierce into the earth. You know, ordinary. Also, the cylinders finish, they plant themselves into these 2 blocks, gigantic blocks. They're 80 meters by 80. So this whole thing is so much bigger than the pyramid itself. But wait, this is an image of the whole Giza complex. So not just Khafre, which is right here. Well, it shows that all the pyramids are interconnected from underneath with structures that develop for 2 kilometers. Now, why was I hesitant to talk about this? Because this is awaiting peer review. Major news outlet have not been covering this at all. I saw another creator saying it's been covered, but only in Italy because the study is Italian. I'm Italian and it still has not made the news. This is the only interview I could find where Malanga himself gets interviewed. I'll link it in the caption, but I'm sorry, it's all in Italian. Supposedly they will release more information soon, and if they do, I will of course keep you updated. But if it does get peer reviewed, we seriously need to reconsider the whole, oh, that little pyramid thing, they just used it to bury pharaohs. Both Biondi and Malanga believe the structure has a mechanical function. The ritualistic explanation just wouldn't cut it anymore. It has been thrown out there that pyramids might have had a power generating function that uses the Earth's frequencies to generate energy, and so the cylinders would be where the energy gets stored, which would explain why the radar detected vibrations inside the structures. I saw another TikTok that said that the researchers will do a 4-hour-long presentation giving more explanation. I was not able to verify this claim, full disclosure, but I sure hope it's true and that they tell us more, because if this gets peer-reviewed and validated, I mean, it would be groundbreaking.
Yes, it would be.
What if I told you there may be advanced structures underneath the pyramids of Giza? There is a new groundbreaking study that is going viral all over social media right now, and they show what they found underneath the Khafre pyramid. So they used a technology called SAR tomography, and it's a radar that sends waves beneath the surface, and this is what they found underneath the pyramid. It's basically 8 cylindrical poles, and it's kind of hard to see, so they recreated it using 3D models, and this is what it looks like. They're saying that that these poles go down 648 meters, which is over 2,100 feet, and they're spiraled up with these coils. Now above this, there are 4 chambers, and on the very bottom, the poles split into these 2 cage-looking structures, and these structures are 80 by 80 meters long. I mean, this looks like some ancient technology that's being used to power something. Now, there's more information to be released about this study, so I'll keep you guys updated when they do release it, but I personally need more information to believe all of this. It's hard to believe a radar sending waves can find out such detail that low beneath the surface, but maybe that's just the technology we have nowadays. But let me know what you guys think about this, because if it is true, this is gonna shake some things up.
New details about the underground city beneath Egypt's pyramids have been released. During a news briefing just released, the researchers said a water system has been identified beneath the platform, located more than 2,100 feet below the Khafra pyramid, with underground pathways leading even deeper into the earth. The team used radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep into the ground beneath the structures, the same way sonar radar is used to map the depths of the ocean. While the bombshell claims have been dismissed by other experts as false and exaggerated, the team believes there's an entire hidden world of many structures more than 2,000 feet below the water system.
Crazy.
The Italian scientist hinted that, quote, "When we magnify the images in the future, we will reveal that beneath it lies what can only be described as a true underground city," end quote. The scientist suggested that the Pyramid of Khafra might conceal undiscovered secrets, notably the fabled Hall of Records. So the Hall of Records is said to hold documents, scrolls, and other ancient materials about ancient Egypt and the lost continent of Atlantis. It is believed to be a hidden chamber beneath the Great Pyramids, or the Sphinx, containing vast amounts of lost wisdom and knowledge about the ancient civilization. These new vertical shafts, identified underneath Khafra, were about 33 to 39 feet in diameter, located at a depth of at least 2,130 feet. The team suggested that the structures could be supporting the pyramid. The scientists also noted that the cylinder structures appear to serve as access points to this underground system. Below the shafts, the team identified 2 massive rectangular enclosures, each measuring approximately 260 feet per side. According to the researchers, each of these enclosures contain 4 shafts that extend from the top and descend downward. The scientists said, quote, "The existence of vast chambers beneath the Earth's surface comparable in size to the pyramids themselves have a remarkably strong correlation between the legendary halls of Amenti," end quote. So this just in.
What?
It's amazing that Thoth talks about the halls of Amenti and describes them in great detail. And then all of a sudden we discover this underneath the pyramids. And this information is now making international news. It's like ripping the airways. It's on everything, everywhere you look, this information's out there. And it absolutely destroys the pyramid mainstream building theory. It destroys it. It destroys the mud ramp theory. It destroys the floating block theory. It just rips and shreds they use chicken bones and copper chisels, and slaves built the pyramids if you're a religious person. It destroys all of those concepts, throws it out the window. Like I've been telling you guys for decades now, throw out the slave theory. Pyramids were not built by slaves. Just toss that into absolute trash. No slaves built the pyramids. The stuff that people keep saying doesn't exist, we discovered that it actually exists. The debunkers keep getting debunked when it comes to my information. Even the fake debate people, they've been debunked already by like several dozen real scholars. The findings suggest, they say, that the presence of a substantial subterranean network beneath the Giza Plateau, potentially corresponding to the legendary halls of Amenti described in the ancient Egyptian mythology. The mysterious Egypt, he says, I visited. This I have actually seen, a work beyond works. For if anyone put together the buildings of the Greeks and the display of their labors, they would seem lesser in both effort and expertise in this labyrinth. Even the pyramids are beyond words, and each was with equal, many and mighty, the works of the Greeks, many and mightier than the works of the Greeks. Yet the labyrinth surpasses even the pyramids. He's saying, Herodotus is saying, what's underneath there surpasses the work of building the pyramid itself. And anything the Greeks have ever done, this outdoes that as well. Okay? And it goes into talk about, well, I go back to the tablets again, because I mix back and forth between accounts and the tablets. And Thoth says, I, Thoth, the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti. These records of the mighty wisdom of the great Atlantis, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. In the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. He says, not as the little men of the present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. We're going to talk about that river of life, and we're going to talk about the halls of Amenti in these rejuvenation chambers tonight. Really big deal. It's a 2-kilometer underground city found beneath the Great Pyramids. Okay, a 2-kilometer underground city. It's just bananas. And it seems to look like something technological. We're talking about something that literally, yeah, I'm just trying to find this one donation here and put it back up on the screen. Hold on. We're talking about something literally that is so sophisticated that you have to have foreknowledge before you build it, okay? We haven't had this much verifiable evidence since I've been studying this stuff for the last 27 years, okay? Just haven't had this much verifiable evidence. I guarantee you there's no chicken bones down there in the dirt. When they dig these up, when they finally get to looking into these, they'll find no chicken bones and no copper chisels around anywhere. They just won't be there. This is advanced technology, using advanced technology, advanced tooling, advanced foreknowledge, advanced mathematics, calculus, geometry. You need to understand levels. You have to understand the rock strata that you're working with to prevent collapse. You have to understand true north. You have to understand all of this stuff. It's mind-boggling.
This stuff sounds super wild.
You are not going to believe what they found under the Egyptian pyramids. Now, it is still very early and they have not released the full report, but they had a press release talking about it on Saturday. They used an advanced type of ground-penetrating radar, essentially, to get images we've never seen before. So there are these 5 structures directly underneath the middle pyramid. They are identical with slanted roofs. Here's another view. And each one has all these sections oriented to due north. Now, it looks like those sit on a kind of platform, and underneath it are these 8 identical cylindrical shapes. Now, my first thought when seeing this is, oh, it's a vibration platform, like a Chladni plate, you know, cymatics, but that's total speculation on my part. Each cylinder is hollow and it has these spiral walkways that go around them. These stretch 600 meters into the earth. That's 1,800 feet. Here's a better look. Now, underneath those cylinders are these 2 identical cubes. The whole thing stretches beneath all 3 pyramids, and they said it's over 2 kilometers into the earth down. That is over a mile into the earth. All I know is it's a good day to be a conspiracy theorist.
That's funny.
Has an underground city been found under the Pyramid of Khafra, the second pyramid on the Giza Plateau? Although people have been talking about this possibility for decades, this is a game changer. Modern science has now shown that there are extensive cavernous areas under the second pyramid. In an official release from the Khafra project, a project utilizing SAR technology, synthetic aperture radar, emitting microwave pulses directed toward the Earth from Capella space satellites, scientists working on the project have identified corridors, chambers, tunnels extending several kilometers beneath the surface of the plateau. According to them, their scans shows what looks like a city corresponding with the legendary halls of Amenti. Amenti means hidden, and according to traditional archaeology, the halls are supposed to be a mythical place associated with the underworld, where souls journey to be put on trial and ultimately judged. However, other researchers over the decades have contended that Amenti was an actual physical place, possibly built by the Atlantean culture, or really ancient Egyptians that were a part of that Atlantean culture, and hidden underground at the Giza Plateau. This new research seems to be showing that Amenti, or what we've been referring to as Amenti, was an actual real physical location hidden underground. This SAR technology that's been utilized uses an ultra-high azimuth radar imaging achieved through specialized spotlight acquisitions with long Doppler integrations, and they were able to extract precise acoustic information. Okay, that's a mouthful. But using this, in conjunction with Doppler tomography developed by Dr. Filippo Biondi, the recreation of three-dimensional underground structures was achieved. So far, the team has discovered 8 cylindrical structures plunging deep into the solid limestone bedrock that are surrounded by these spiral passageways that end in these giant cubical structures, open chambers that, well, we really don't know what's in there. Some are suggesting that this was for the amplification of some sort of sound technology. Perhaps. Science has already confirmed that the Great Pyramid of Giza is harnessing and storing energy from the earth. Are these underground chambers part of that mechanism? This underground complex is so massive that it does extend underneath the other pyramids on the plateau. This discovery comes less than a year after it was announced that a mysterious L-shaped structure was discovered buried beneath the Giza West Field near the Great Pyramid. What else is to be discovered underneath this highly enigmatic location? You can be assured we'll be covering this in our upcoming Stargates of Ancient Egypt tour. For details on that, please visit my website under the Events and Tours tab. And keep checking back in this space and on my blog for more information.
A whole city under the...
I'm sorry, they found what underneath the pyramids? A new study came out, I think on like March 16th or something, and they're telling more about it, but there's this new technology with satellite and all this other stuff, basically where they can get a model of not just the pyramids, but what's going on all around it. What the fuck is that? 8 cylinders underneath the pyramid. Okay.
What the fuck is that?
Underneath, so 4 cylinders and 4 cylinders, you have 2 blocks underneath that. And they're connected to other pyramids too, to the other pyramids in Egypt as well. Like Khufu, I think, and other ones. I still got to look into it, but... Oh, and also another secret chamber that nobody knew about until, I don't know, a few days ago. But what? These go like hundreds of meters down into the ground below the pyramids, which already we don't even know how they were made, right? To put it into perspective, the ancient Egypt that we study, those Egyptians during that time were studying how the pyramids were made. They were confused. They didn't even know. So the pyramids were a mystery to the people that we are studying. The people that are a mystery still to us, the pyramids were a mystery to them. And now we're discovering all these cylinders and these blocks below these cylinders. And another thing too, like, yeah, it's crazy that there's cylinders and yeah, there's coils around them and yeah, there's these blocks underneath all that. But the bigger implication is that there's a functional purpose for all of this stuff. It's not just for show, right? It's not glamorous to see a block and these cylinders holding up a pyramid. There's a reason that it's there. The pyramids aren't just tombs at this point. There's another functional purpose that we don't even know about. We're probably going to soon, but it's just all fascinating to me.
Yeah, this is next level.
This is the weird thing about Giza, my friend, is that there are things that have gone underground in Egypt that, for whatever reason, Joe, is just off limits to the public. There's something called the Osiris Shaft, which is located directly under the causeway between the Sphinx and the second pyramid. And it goes about 100 feet underground. It's carved out of the limestone bedrock. It's the creepiest place I've ever been in my life. It's disturbing.
Why is it disturbing?
I don't know, Joe. Well, there's human bones in there. I stepped on it. I didn't even know.
What?
Yeah.
That's the shaft right there?
Yes, that's the entrance into it. And then you go straight down from there.
God, look at the line of people.
Yeah, you got to pay $2,000 to get in there.
floating around.
It's everywhere.
Potato chip bags. Really?
So that's the first shaft. So it's 3 different shafts, and you go down, and here's where it gets, this is the crazy part. When you get to the 3rd level, which is completely dark and freaky, there was a side tunnel. Zahi Hawass himself, there was a documentary, it was either 96 or 99, he went down there, and he's standing in front of this tunnel that went sideways, and he says, it's yet to be explored, and I don't know what's down there. And I'm thinking, the hell you don't know what's down there? Like, you never walked down there? But Joe, they've since sealed it up. It's like cinder blocks. They sealed it up.
What?
Whoa.
Yes. So there's
what?
Swear to God.
Why would they seal it up?
That's a really, hey Joe, I really want to know that the answer to that question.
They just be doing whatever they want to do, bro.
Pyramid shit that's just come out?
Oh, this is insane. Yeah, I was going to send this to you as well, Jamie. I'll send you one of the most comprehensive breakdowns of it on X because it's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is because they're just looking at LiDAR images, but whatever this is a uniform structure. There's several pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who were studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. So this was used to explore the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high resolution full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far. Utilizing high-resolution radar images from Capella Space and Umbra, which are 2 private companies that specialize in satellite-based synthetic aperture radar imaging. This has allowed researchers to create a 3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid. But the most shocking discovery lies beneath the surface, below ground level. Radar tomography has identified vertical cylindrical structures extending for hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid. There are 8 of these cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows, descending to an astonishing depth of 648 meters. Even more intriguing, at the base of these structures are 2 massive cubic formations measuring approximately 80 meters in diameter. The tomographic data suggests that these are vertical wells with intricate spiral pathways. Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative, But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible to say that the Egyptian civilizations that we understand, that we've been taught about, were responsible for building these structures. And it doesn't even end there. The radar analysis extends beneath the entire Giza plateau, revealing interconnected structures beneath not only the Great Pyramid of Giza, but also those of Khufu and Menkaure. The subsurface network reaches down to a staggering depth of approximately 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers. This is not possible, given the standard historical and archaeological narrative given to us about ancient Egypt. Now, I'm hearing that there is more to come. There is a 4-hour presentation that's going to be released by the research team. This is what I'm hearing. That's going to go into every detail of their findings. This has essentially been a strategic release of incredible data ahead of time to get people interested. And I am more interested in this than basically anything else right now, because this is by far the most provocative piece of evidence for not only a potential technological explanation for the purpose of the Giza complex, but it also provides the most extraordinary evidence for a pre-flood era civilization that was flourishing in a way that we can scarcely comprehend. It's also possible that this spiraling cylindrical series of structures are staircases, and I can't help but think of the channeled writings of Thoth the Atlantean, you know, the Emerald Tablets, speaking of a lost hall of records, a sacred hall of knowledge below the Giza Plateau, the halls of Amenti. Could this be the lost hall of records from the pre-flood era? Now, obviously, this discovery is extremely controversial. It runs as a complete contradiction of the established narratives and status quo in mainstream academia on these issues. This will cause big waves throughout the academic and the wider world if they can fully evidence these findings. But the results so far seem pretty clear. There is obviously significant structural engineering taking place deep below the pyramids and the Giza Plateau in general. Has this changed your mind on the pyramids? Has this strengthened your position on what they might have been? Has this new discovery given you any new ideas about what the implications are? Let me know in the comment section below.
Yo, this is shaking some stuff up right here.
Hey friends, it seems that reality is emulating art once again. I've always loved this meme. You've probably seen it. It's been circulating for years. It's beautiful. And what it does is it illustrates that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to Great Pyramids of Giza. And I think we all know that this is not the whole story. As amazing as these are, that is not the whole story. But how much more is there to the story? Well, after this groundbreaking news that came out a couple days ago about these findings underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, I wanted to show you a few different artist depictions that have come out showing the scale of what they found underneath the pyramid. Now, if you don't know, super quick recap, a team of scientists and engineers using this special ground-penetrating radar that creates these 3D models found these 8 gigantic columns that protrude into the bedrock from underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza that feed down into these gigantic, chambers, these huge cubes that are underneath. So a few people put together some graphics showing just the scale of these things. Here they show the columns, these 8 columns with these spiral pathways feeding into these gigantic chambers here underneath the pyramid. But how far down into the ground do they go? Well, here's an artist depiction showing the Great Pyramid here and, the columns in comparison to the Empire State Building, just so you can see the scale. It's nuts. And these are guesstimates because we haven't been able to confirm any of this just yet. And here's another artist depiction here showing the Giza underground system, and this is the scale of it compared to, this is the Statue of Liberty right here, the Twin Towers, and this is the tallest building in the world in Dubai. So you can just see their scale here and just the perspective. It's just crazy how big they think that these columns, how deep they go into the ground. It's really mind-blowing, and it really makes you just start thinking, what could these things be? Like, what are these columns? What are these spiral pathways? And what are these huge cubes that they're feeding into? And the whole internet's freaking out right now trying to figure out, is this some sort of a free energy machine? Is it some sort of a weapon? Is it some underground Atlantean, city? What is down there? And this is another artist depiction that I found that, is just beautiful. And again, all of this is just kind of speculation and guesstimating and having fun with these findings. But that team that released the findings say that there's a whole lot more data coming out. They're just kind of wetting our whistle, and to be staying tuned because they're going to have multiple more press conferences and releasing a lot more data. But in the meantime, we can have fun just speculating on what is underneath the pyramids. Let me know in the comments what you think it is, my friends. Have a beautiful night. Peace.
Crazy.
Scientists just said that they found new chambers in the Great Pyramids of Giza, y'all. As you can see, they don't know exactly how it looked, but they said it looks something like this. They said it's a hidden corridor deep down in the pyramids, y'all. And the scientists said they found this by using something called a cosmic ray. They said this corridor is 30 feet long. And they said it's hidden behind the main entrance of the pyramid. And the crazy thing is, nobody knew this until now. Like, what? So now that they discovered this, or they think they discovered something like this using that technology, let's just say it's real. What does this mean now? I'm just trying to figure out what this corridor was used for and what's inside of it. And is there any secrets that we need to know about? From the scientists' model that they use, this is what they think it looks like underneath the pyramids. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. We already don't know how the bitch was built. Now we're trying to figure out how the hell they built that and what the hell is it? We need answers, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Do y'all think this is really under the pyramid? And if so, what is it used for?
He said, we don't even know how that bitch was created. Built.
Hey, yo, do we finally have the proof that the Great Pyramid is a machine? And is that machine responsible for this? Scientists have discovered 8 pillars. They're all hollow, surrounded by these coils that go very deep into the earth. These pillars are connected to these big-ass blocks with these coils. But the scientists say that this was just a walkway for them to get down there. They also discovered 5 different structures that are all connected within the pyramid. Here's a side view so you can see the structures connected. Here's the scans of the pillars, a better one of the pillars. And this says that the various bright spots beneath the pyramid represent artificial structures located approximately 2 kilometers beneath the pyramid. Now this discovery is so amazing because it shows that there was a lot more going on over there than we could have ever imagined. And that this is a machine. Hey, my bad, y'all. I meant to say that this could possibly be a machine. And TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. We all know that the Great Pyramid is not a machine. You hear me?
That's funny. That is funny.
Every passageway in the Great Pyramid slopes at an angle of 26 degrees. That's not an accident because the exterior of the Great Pyramid slopes at an angle of 52 degrees. 26 plus 26 is 52. So the internal corridors and passageways slope at half the angle of slope of the pyramid itself. Mathematicians were clearly at work. As you enter the pyramid, you're going to go up an ascending corridor, which also slopes at 26 degrees. Then you're going to find yourself at the level of the Queen's Chamber. And then you're going to be confronted by the Grand Gallery, which is 150 feet long, almost 30 feet high, a Corbel vault. Astonishing piece of engineering and architecture in the heart of this gigantic monument. And that's only what you can see with the naked eye. Most people who go to the King's Chamber don't realize that there are 5 additional chambers above the King's Chamber. The floors and ceilings of each of those 5 chambers are floored with blocks weighing 70 tons each. Blocks of granite that were brought from Aswan, 500 kilometers to the south of Giza. There's been a very interesting scanning project on the Great Pyramid using muon rays. This has detected a large number of other intriguing cavities within the Great Pyramid. There appears to be an entire second Grand Gallery above the Grand Gallery, which nobody's got into.
The mysteries behind this stuff.
I've read every fucking theory on how they built those pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza has 2,300,000 stones in it. Some of them they weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Some of them are cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. These things point, that pyramid is shaped perfectly. Like, if you fucked up like a quarter inch there, a half inch here, by the time you get to the top, that thing's a mess. But meanwhile, it's not. It's perfect. It's also perfectly aligned to true north, south, east, and west. And they're not really sure how old it is. They think they date it to 2500 BC, but that's just because of organic particles that they pulled from inside stones. But they also say that they probably could have sealed those stones and resealed those stones over time. You're dealing with like a gigantic mystery of unfathomable proportion.
Facts. Yes.
If you look at the Great Pyramid of Giza, it's like a half ratio of the entire Earth. Perfect. And if you look at the location it is on the Earth, the location it is the same number of the speed of light. These people were smarter than we are. We think we're so advanced with iPhones and stuff, but I think we're pretty dumb, actually. It's built to be an exact replica of half the hemisphere of the entire planet. It means that they knew the exact ratios and size of the entire planet. Right. We're talking about people that literally knew not only the circumference of the Earth, but the distance between the sun and the moon. So they designed a structure to literally mimic the cosmos to be in the precise location of the Earth that I believe had two functions. First function is I think that if you look at something like the King's Chamber, seems to be this incredibly energetic, highly conscious place that if you go, you have like profound experiences. Everybody says that. Secondly, it seems to be because the 3 stars are mimicking the 3 belt stars of Orion, and it's in that specific spot on the Earth. The way that I can describe it is they seem to be somehow either manipulating or balancing the energy in the entire planet, like the magnetosphere of the planet. Underneath the Great Pyramids, we find all 3 pyramids are built specifically on a place where the aquifer water systems came up and interacted with all the sacred geometry and like all these different things to create like a harmonic balance of energy there. So perfectly that not only that, but it's based on like our entire planet and the ratio and distances from the moon and sun. They seem to be creating some kind of a system.
This stuff sounds crazy.
The Great Pyramid is literally impossible. Archaeologists will tell you they could build a Great Pyramid, but it's something that doesn't make any sense.
In the Great Pyramid, these chambers are roofed and floored with granite beams that weigh about 70 tons each. And there are hundreds of them. So which, to put in context, a 70-ton beam is equivalent in weight to 35 large SUVs. These 70-ton granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. You can say, oh, perhaps they built a ramp, but then you have to confront basic laws of physics. You can't haul a stone weighing tens of tons up a slope that exceeds 10 degrees. Then you start doing the calculation. How long a ramp do I need with a 10-degree slope to get to 350 feet above the ground? And the answer is you need a fucking long ramp. Maybe the idea that psychic powers were cultivated by ancient civilizations, that they could use powers of the human mind that we have allowed to lapse, maybe that idea deserves further consideration. We hear anecdotal reports of people who have telekinetic powers, who can move things with their minds, of people who have telepathic powers, and our automatic reaction is to just dismiss all of that because science says it's impossible.
Yeah. All right, so that was another TikTok compilation, man. That was about the pyramids and the new findings, and y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about that, because they talking about a lot of stuff. Pillars, whole new city underground, kilometers and kilometers deep inside of the earth. Like, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. If y'all made it this far, you a real one for real. Make sure you put that in the comments. But we gonna see when more information is revealed what they really found and what's the significance of this stuff, because this stuff sounds crazy. It's a lot more than what meets the eye with just the outside of the pyramids, if all this stuff is true what they found. But look, man, till next time, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it. Whew.